Lugar Stories. I am Haley Marie, your host, and I am here with David Kubis, David Caddy, and Claudia Cano. And we're here to talk to you about, or tell you about, what's going on with El Lugar. And construction began about a little over a month ago. And it started the day the rest of the world shut down, and El Lugar started to rise. So, David, what started first? What are we creating? What's been getting created in El Lugar? What's going on with the construction?
Well, the first phase is, because this area is known for being so wet, is we have to put in all the construction roads. So that's basically what we've done for the last, I guess it's about a month. And we're just, at this point in time, we're just finishing them. But what it means is what we tried to do in the project is use all the existing roads that were there. So we didn't have to cut new roads. And cutting new road, we have two sizes of road. We have a 5.5 meter road and a 3 meter road. And the 5.5 goes down to the venue, to the administrative buildings and the entry. So what we do is they cut out maybe 240 centimeters of topsoil. And that gets carted away to different places on the property where there were scars from other excavation that had occurred. So we basically filled them in to make them be more natural. So we've used all the topsoil, and we've not taken any away. We've just rearranged it in places. If people look at any of the videos, you'll see some raw earth in places where we've filled, which will get grassed over in the end. So we dig that out, and then what they do is they haul in rock of different sizes. And so we have a base rock, which they mix on site, which is big rocks and little rocks and powder. And they mix it all together, and then they start distributing it in the cuts. So they come along, and they dump it in, and then they level it all out, then they compact it, and that creates the base, so you get above all the mud. And then once that's been compacted a few times with a big roller, then they put a finer layer of maybe 150 mil on top of centimeters on top of that, and then that's rolled and finished. So we've been doing that for the last month on different places. We marked all the roads out, and we've done it. We have maybe another 150 meters of 3 meter wide roads to finish. So that's that phase. Any questions?
Well, I would like to add something to the way we build the roads. As you all know, Costa Rica is very environmental friendly, and green building is very big. So Costa Rica is one of the few countries that have their own ministry for environmental building. And the biggest ministry in Costa Rica is called the SETENA, and they have to approve every hotel project that is built in Costa Rica, especially the impact of the construction on the land, on the area, on everything. And one big concern of SETENA was that because it's a very rainy area, when we build all these roads, we are sealing the land, and then the water cannot filter through the concrete, and then it creates all these little rivers, and it creates so much water in heavy rain that we have to actually come up with a whole piping system underneath the property to actually get the water into the river. We have a commitment. We have a commitment of not stealing the land. So can you talk about that, David? What are we doing? What are we doing in the Lugar?
So what we're doing is it's not going to be this pristine road. It's more of a farm road. They call it lastre here. So it allows all the water to percolate through the road or go to the sides. So we don't have this, it's almost like a Gore-Tex. It allows the earth to breathe. And so we don't have to deal with all these really expensive water systems. Occasionally what we need to do is put a culvert underneath the road just to direct the road where it blocks the natural flow of water. But that's actually quite in very few places. Because of the way we laid the roads out, we're on top of all the ridges, and so it doesn't create much problems. And we've had rain here in this past week, and it's given us an opportunity to look at where the weak spots in the roads are, and where there's dips and where puddles occur and things like that. And so found there wasn't that many at all, and not much of the road washed out. So it's been a good time to have the rain just to check on whether we were doing it correctly. But yes, it's like there's no sealing of anything. It's just allowing the water to percolate through the roads. It means for in the long run, probably a little more maintenance, but it's a much more environmentally friendly approach. And I think it suits the overall nature of El Lugar.
So the weather is in our side, that we're now testing the roads?
Well, the weather tested the roads. We had, some reasonably heavy rain. I hear it's not the heaviest, but it definitely showed up any weak spots in the road so far. But remember, these are only construction roads to start with. They'll all get redone at the end once the construction has finished. So they'll all get upgraded.
Cool. Can you talk to us about how the water was getting into the river and like carving on the roots of the big Guanacaste tree? And how's that going now with the roads?
Well, yeah, that wasn't our road. That was an older road that was already there. And I think over time, what happens is if you don't maintain the roads, in other words, when the water does flow on a road and it's going down a hill, if it's not banked, so if it doesn't have a rise in the middle, it doesn't allow the water to flow to each edge, and then it flows down the middle of the road. And I think that's what was happening around this tree, is it was flowing down the road and it was going to where the old bridge used to be and eating away all of the earth around a tree which already has fallen into the river, but this big Guanacaste tree. So what we've done is we've taken some of that topsoil and we've redistributed it there. And when we're done, we'll reconfigure the road so that the water flows away from the tree and dissipates into the land and then gradually sinks down in towards the river. So, I mean, a lot of these things are that one in particular was just a maintenance issue that was never dealt with and people weren't paying attention to it. So, but that's not the case now.
Yay.
So what I love about this way of building is because everybody thinks that building a big project by protecting the land makes it more expensive. We found out exactly the opposite, but extremely the opposite, because by building our roads the way we build them, we don't need the entire piping system that takes care of the water. And by actually building the roads on the top of the hills, taking advantage of the natural filtration system on each side of the road, there are just very few spots where we need to adjust the building of water. So building by following nature is probably the cheapest way to build, because you don't have to fight nature. You just are in communion with it, and then nothing can actually destroy what you built, because you took care of nature while you built it, and then nature will take care because you didn't destroy it. So we are not creating a fight. Our roads are not fighting against nature. they're in communion with. And we might need some more maintenance, but maintenance creates, we will need more people to work at Lugar. So it creates more engagement with the communion, with the people who live there. And that can never be wrong.
And also, it's more like we have to be more aware of what's going on. We have to be more engaged with the land to be aware of what's required, what action is required to take. So it's cheaper, like David said, and it also make us be aware of what's going on with the land and be engaged with it and be more in communion with it and take action sometime before things get out of hand or something just shows up while no one was looking, quote unquote.
So also, let me just jump in there. When we were laying the roads out, they were laid out on the plans, but the actual final laying of the roads we did in person. So the architect and I went around and where it was on the drawings that looked like it might be the right place, it wasn't the correct place. So then we would adjust it. You know, it might be moving it 2 or 3 meters one way or the other way. And in that way, we could be right there and follow the earth instead of just looking at it on a drawing. And in the end, we came up with, I forget, it's less roads than what we had set out for Satena by being out there and actually following the land and putting them in where they were most appropriate, not just blanketly saying, well, this is where we're going. So it was.
So you mean we made a plan and then we changed it because we found out there's something else possible?
I think that must be the motto of El Lugar. We make a plan and then we see what's happening and then we draw the plans after we've done it. So it's always changing all the time. I mean, and the consequence of that is that it may not flow as fast as I would like, but it flows more. It just needs to change. It's like you can't be fixed. I mean, that's what I've learned is you have to be able to look at every possibility as it comes up and not say, well, this is the right answer, but something might change. So you go, okay, well, then we need to look at it in a different way. So it's a constant changing, questioning. There's never just one answer. I mean, I give you an example of how everything's connected. Today, Gary calls me up at 7:00 and he says, I need to talk to you. And I'm going, okay, well, what's this about now? And he wanted to talk about doors. So he explained how he wanted the doors. Well, like 4 days before, Otto and I had been talking about airflow and doors. And it's a little bit out of sequence because construction of those kind of things is well down the line. But we had that conversation, and I said to Guy, I said, well, did anybody phone you about doors? And of course he says, well, no. So it's amazing how everything is connected. So that conversation 4 days before, I get my answer before I even ask the question. So I thought that was pretty.
I love it. I think this is how nature actually works. Mankind just forgot to listen to it. And I'm so grateful, David, that we have you on site, listening to the whispers of nature and consciousness while we are going there. And I'm so grateful that you are just changing the roads and the houses as nature requires and not as we have planned. And I remember there was this discussion because we do have investors at El Lugar. Investors can actually buy a share of the company and then choose a house where they can stay for a month. And there were concerns. Well, can we just, these are investors' houses, can we just move them? And I love what we came up with, we said, it's not us moving them, we are putting them where the land wants them.
Because it's a truth.
This is what's happening now, and this is why I'm so grateful for this. We have 67 investors, and they go, sure, we want that to be. We have this commitment. They don't want what they paid for exactly the way they signed up. They allow us to have that space. And this is what I love about this project. It's not only the people we pay. No, it's even the ones who are co-creating this with us. The commitment to, okay, let's go. Let's do the construction by being in question and following what nature tells us, listening to nature, listening to the land, listening to the trees, to the hills. And I know that every single house will be special because it will be where the land wants it to be, not where someone in an office has decided to put it.
And that's the amazing part of all this project, that all of it's a co-creation between nature and everyone involved in it.
Everyone. And that's the beauty of it, because it is a gifting and receiving. It's not just an investment, it's this being part of that and learning from it and seeing how nature takes action. And I think it's a beautiful co-creation. Creationship with a lugar. Special form of relationship. Relationships are different. Try nature. The partner doesn't work. So David, what will be next? The big roads are almost done, you said. What will be next?
Well, then we have some details to do about some culverts that need to go in, channels underneath the roads. And then we have this dam area that needs to get redone. It was there originally. It's we're just bringing it up to standard is all. And then we will probably start on some of the 1.5 meter kind of golf cart trails that go to the houses and on the flat areas on the first neighborhood, which we'll start on. So that will be the next phase, is to do those. And while we're waiting for all the piping layout, basically, for all the infrastructure. And things are changing all the time. It's like I asked a question about water. Well, where are we getting the water? Oh, we're getting it from the local water authority. Well, we find there's 2 water authorities and we're split in the middle. And so there's 2 different sources of water. And on the property, there's water that goes to Puerto Vallarta. And it comes right across the property. Well, we talked to Juan, who's the local gardener here, who looks after the land, and he said, "Oh, there's access to that water here." So we're exploring that, as well as having water come in from the front main road. So it's like everything is always changing. It's like, so I don't even know where the water will enter into the property at this moment. But it's like there's way more possibilities than there were when I first arrived. So, but I don't know what it's going to look like, except that we will have water, plenty of it.
So that's exciting. That gives us a topic for the next podcast. So where does the water come from?
Maybe I'll know whether I don't know. We'll find out.
Thank you, David. I actually am very grateful that you allow us to be part of also the unknown, starting a project, not knowing where the water will come from. In this strategy, they would go, "Oh my God, how can you do that? Where is the guarantee? Where's the security?" And then the guy just goes, "It's not a question of if, it's just a question of when and where." So that is our security, that we just know. A special form of guarantee. So I'm personally very excited to find out where the water will finally come from and what miracles El Lugar will create to make it happen. Because having, two municipalities being
contributing to us.
Let's see. Let's see what we can create during the next week, and where will the water come from.
But that's part of the amazingness of having the back of El Lugar, having nature's back, that El Lugar has our back too. So we trust each other completely.
Yes, that's our guarantee.
Exactly.
Our trust.
And we already started planting the plants near the roads. It's like as soon as they finish the first ones, we start planting. So we'll see how much the plants grow in our next podcast. David will tell us.
Water and plants. It's exciting. Yeah. More rain?
Well, just for the plants at this point. It would be nice to have a little rain at night, so that would be...
Yeah, so we can give you some of ours from over here. We're getting rain nonstop. Just shift some over there. Awesome. So water and plants, and I'm excited to hear more about the nursery too, hopefully next week or the week after that we have in El Lugar. There's so many amazing things that are going on. There's so many amazing plants and animals on the property, as well as everything that's going on with the construction and the amazing people that are there working on the project. So I'm super excited that we're going to be bringing you guys all of this information, all of these stories coming up. So stay tuned for our next podcast, and we'll see you then.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.